subscribe.
I have to.
Oh, we're looking at these ones.
Yeah, say hi to everyone.
Hello. I look like I'm 22.
You look beautiful.
Thank you.
Y'all just want me in this thing.
Absolutely. We need your expertise.
I'm sorry.
Diana.
Yeah, tell him to show you before TV. This area right here.
So I can start the session.
Tell me what.
Okay.
How to share
You
the
have the
link
whole face in there?
and which one is that you got?
You might have moved the other camera.
Oh wait, it's already online.
I know, but show him. Okay.
It's over your Facebook page.
Now it's gonna be a link. It's on YouTube. But I'll share the link. You could share that link everywhere you can click. So, could you show her how to do that? Diana, do it with him, please. Are you sure that's the one? Because we just start fresh.
Okay, that's the you subscribe to the YouTube and it's the very top.
The very top?
Yeah, that one.
Alright, so you share that one. And at the same time, I want you to record it. Yeah, go down. Come on. I'm sorry, get out of this. Oh, we look like that gold color was the hit.
Oh yeah, we got
Kinda. Hey, we look good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Education.
Yeah.
Not just schools
Right.
that have it was just like being involved in other schools and bring the ideas and all that stuff was gonna make the difference. I actually like the whole point you said that it was very important to keep the teachers safe.
Yeah.
I personally have a teacher that is a sister, and I know how important is that. So,
So, winning was children, my husband, some of my church family was there. And then a couple weeks ago, I was told by multiple people that they had never seen that many people show up to a swearing in for school committee. And so they looked and they said, Latonia, we think all these people are here for you. And most of them were my family and my church family and some friends. And they were really excited because to them they felt like me winning was symbolic of the fact that it's a turning point for our community and that people are not okay with the status quo and people want change. And they didn't want to just have the same old anymore. So that's great because what it says is that right now all of the concerns that we have, people want to hear them and people want to address them. So the biggest piece right now that I've learned over the last few weeks is that a lot of people are not educated on how to advocate for their families or how to advocate for their children. So my biggest step, and I'm announcing it here first, we're going to have a meeting on February 17th, and it's called Parent Villages, Building Parent Villages, and we're going to have people like yourself at the table, people who are advocates in the community, grassroots level, as well as professionals, as well as targeting those people that I know how to reach the families. Because they feel like the system is failing them or is not for them. And I know firsthand that although there's a lot of situations where people are not treated fairly, that a lot of times people miss out on opportunities because they don't know the resources that are there. Anybody who knows Springfield Public Schools knows that we have the best professional development for our teachers in the state, and many will argue in the region. We also have some of the best resources for our kids, but a lot of times they're not getting those resources. So the biggest thing for me is educating families on what those resources are, how to speak out on behalf of your families, how to make sure that if you are being mistreated, how do you make sure that people know about it, who can do something about it, and not just going on Facebook and talking about it, but making sure that you send an email to the right person or you call the right person and make sure that things are getting handled properly. Because what I find when I sit down with the superintendent or different people, they're like, well, we didn't know about that, or we never heard of that. And as soon as I tell them something, they look into it. They don't waste time. They get right back to me and they tell me, we checked into it, and this is the situation, this is what we're doing about it. So when they know, they will do something.
Okay.
But and I'm not going to say 100% of the time, because somebody might say, oh, well, I had a situation, so I'm not going to get into that. But as far as my situation is concerned, and me addressing things, every time I address it, it's always handled, it's always been taken care of. And we try to come up with a compromise.
I remember last time we were here, you were talking about how, like, Springfield wasn't taking seriously education, and it's good that you said that. Actually, it's people out there that they want to take it seriously,
Right.
but if you don't come to them and let them know what's going on, so maybe the people that are going, everybody have different situations, so they just working in the other people's situations, whoever are addressing.
Absolutely.
So if parents in Springfield want to address any issue, a parent committee,
Yes, so most of the schools have a parent teacher or organization or something like that. They all have a CEDM team, which is School Center Decision Making Team, which has at least two. And then all of the schools are supposed to have a parent facilitator in the school who deals with the parents and helps them to find out, whatever the resources are, or if they're having problems, or not even if they're just having problems, if there's something good and they want to get parents to come to an open house or something like that. So they have parent facilitators, and a lot of our elementary and middle schools have City Connects people, which are also there as resources to the families and to the children. So that's just some of the things, but there's several different grassroots and district-led, like, parent engagement types of initiatives. But again, the thing is, parents feel funny when it's like the district. So it's like, if another parent is coming to them from the community and saying, let's sit down and have a conversation, they want to. But if the district says, let's sit down and have a conversation, sometimes they're like, no, we don't believe you. We don't want to talk to you. So the biggest thing, Sonia, is how do we reach the people who are not like me and you, who are not, like, before I ran for school committee, diploma was that they would then get a diploma from their school in Puerto Rico, right? So that's something that now they fought for, and not just our district, but
and it's one thing about the education in Puerto Rico, it's tougher than here. I hope you know. Teachers are tougher than here, and it's a good education. It's not a bad education.
Well, and I think that it's not so much the quality of the education, it's the way it's taught, right?
The teachers are great.
Exactly. So what I mean is, by that, what I mean, Sonia, is that, for example, let's say algebra, they teach the kids, this is how we want you to answer the question on MCAS this way. We want you to do the problem, A plus B equals C, and that's the only way we want you to do it, because that's the way they want it on MCAS. But in Puerto Rico, they could have learned the same thing, but now it's A1 plus B1 is equal C, but it still gets you the same answer. But because they taught differently there, they get the same answer, but now they don't want that. They don't want it taught that way for the MCAS. They want it this way. So that's where you get some confusion, where it's not that they're not intelligent enough to know it. It's that there's different discrepancies in what the questions might ask, what they may understand, how the question is being asked, what the content is. So what happens, for example, if you are taking an MCAS and you have a question and you say, what's hiking? The teacher can't tell you what hiking is, but you still have to answer the question
without knowing
without knowing what that word is. So so that's what I mean by a kid can come over and they can be very smart but can't pass the MCAS, not because they're not smart, but because of the content. Yes, exactly. So that's why it was important for them to fight for those kids to be able to get the diploma, because these kids are smart, they're not stupid, but they can't pass the MCAS because of all these other barriers. The other things that they're doing, for example, is they're trying to place kids in schools that have better ELL programs. So all of the schools have ELL, but some of them have more complex and better programming than others, because they have more kids that have to take ELL, or they have more severity as far as their understanding of the language or whatnot. Not just Puerto Rico, but every language, and we talked about that before. So So that's something that they're doing. They're really paying attention to that piece of it. They will pay for translators when necessary to make sure that they have people that can translate. Most of the schools have people that can translate, so they don't have the issue. But in the event that they're in a school where they don't, they would have a translator that will come in and stuff like that.
Let me speak that and I'm gonna repeat it but in Spanish.
Yes.
Yo quiero que mi gente sepa, Springfield, estamos hablando de las escuelas, que las escuelas ustedes van a tener beneficios de que le traduzcan. So, si hay alguien que está mirándonos, alguien que está viendo el broadcast, please, sepan que las escuelas les van a tener que proveer un translator, van a tener la escuela le va a proveer una persona que le traduzca para su hijo. So, no tiene que tener miedo en ir a buscar información o lo que necesite de la escuela. Están ahí para ayudarlo. So, no hay excusa. Hay que envolverse. La educación es bien importante. It's really important.
Right.
You know, la gente que vino de Puerto Rico, the people that came from Puerto Rico, like we starting over. Those people are starting over. And I remember starting just like that. And I know education is the only way to make it happen when you don't have anything, when you don't have a daddy or a mommy rich. Cuando tú no tienes a alguien que te pueda dar dinero, tus padres que tengan dinero, tu mamá, la educación es lo que ustedes le tienen que enfatizar a sus hijos para que salgan de la pobreza, para romper ese ciclo de la pobreza, porque todo el mundo aquí lo puede lograr. You know, we in a place of opportunities. Massachusetts
it's one of those things where
stereotyping, and that's what we gotta stop doing. We gotta understand that it was a lot of leadership in the Latino, and it's a lot of leadership in the Afro American people. See, like, no, because you're just a mom, it's that you just can think out of the box, and God gave you that skill, and you're gonna be very blessed, and I know that you're gonna bless that Springfield and take that bad reputation that, you know, by years we have or Springfield have, because nobody really cares enough.
Right, and you're right, because I remember growing up in Springfield was the best district. Everyone would lie about their address so that their kids can go to Central. That's how quality, and we're getting quality education. And then in the past, 5 years now, I would say, we've been turning back around that ship, where we're starting to be, people still are not seeing us in the same light that we did 20 years ago, but people are starting to appreciate and value more what we're doing as a district. But now I think it's because, like you said, we have good people in leadership. It's not bickering and people fighting and telling each other off, I mean, but now we're at a place where we're very much in sync, and we talk, and like when we have our subcommittee meetings, and we have to in that way that it does now. Like we can go back and forth, but it's not like arguing. It's like
professional.
Being professional, asking a question. Can you clarify this? Can you show me this? And they show you this, they answer your question, and that's what it should be. And then if something doesn't make sense, then we have a discussion with the superintendent or whomever that we need to talk to make sure that things get done the way it needs to get. Negative judgment about something and it's not true, but sometimes we think something's great and then we find out, well, the teachers are not really happy because they don't like that. Well, why not? So let's talk about that.
I think that's a great point.
Never happened because now you have it in writing. And that's the part where people have expressed to me dealt with.
And you're right. A lot of people don't know how to advocate for them. I understand what, because the school system is really conceptual.
Yes. I don't want to hear about
the government is acting like dollars. Some people are like that.
Exactly. So you say to yourself, why can't you just be quiet and just let the person do whatever so that, this person said that they're never going to get the full benefit and they're never, if you've always had it with. And so if you can't do that with those people you live with, then we know you're not going to do well with other people, because those people will get on your nerves the most because they're, but if you still love them anyways, then we know there's a chance that you can help the rest of us, right? And so I just try to, going, back to even school committee or to the district, I look at these 26,000 kids and I think of my kid. I don't think about the fact that I'm always going to be for my kids. and they have a good home. They have two parents that love them.
Now you have a lot of kids.
They have,
you know.
yeah, I do. I have 4 children. And
now you have to
yeah, now I got 26,000. Oh my
Oh,
goodness.
Lord.
But I go to the schools and I meet the kids and they're so respectful to me. And some of them know who I am and some of them don't know who I am. But they're so respectful. 26,000 little balls of potential. They all have potential. I cannot imagine what these kids deal with. And I talk about being poor and not having stuff, but I didn't come from an environment where I was
looking at people shooting
yeah,
drugs and
I just
because I hear that
yeah,
and I like, you know, I was poor, I didn't have food, but then when I hear all the stories, then, you know, I learned
right.
to put myself in people's,
Yeah.
even when rich people and complain, oh, you know, they can believe in many things. I believe God first, and a lot of people so negative, and they don't know how they cursing their life
right.
with their negativity. So, you know, and you know, sometimes the universe, like I say, don't understand it's yes or no. They just keep like listening to what you're thinking, when you know, and that negativity, it comes back. You know, whatever you do come back. Karma is so real. So, you know, it's very important that, you know, stop teaching your kids that, oh, you know, that's not my problem, that's not my kid. Or, you know, like teach your kids, you know, if you want your kid to go to the right way, because right now, if your teacher like do something to you, oh, let me, you know, because I know. But I will never do that because I tell my kids that that's the second parent in school. They just they have them my kids more than what I do.
Absolutely.
During the week, so I make sure that I let them know that that's the second parents, and you know they don't want to hear nothing. They thank God, you know, not going with God. Thank God, you know, it's what I teach them, and I teach them to respect adults and all that stuff. Because I was, you know, growing up, I was introduced to God, and I know that was a special. I wish that, you know, the struggle is so many things that, you know, when you're doing the right thing, don't, you know, well, actually, when you're doing the right thing and nothing happens, that's what you should worry about. Because that means you're not doing the right thing. You know what I mean? But if you're doing the right thing and start having issues and problems and everything, it's a process, and you just take it because people are worse. I always think people are worse in life, and sometimes people are just so like individualist. Like this society is very individualist, but people are so focused in themselves that they just like miss the whole point, you know, of like looking at others to appreciate what they have, and you know. Because I was trying to make sure that I said they were right.
That's a good word.
Yeah, my kids love that. But I had to learn it and practice it well. If not, I would have never say it. But you know, it's very important. I think and I do believe like I'm not perfect because nobody is. If we were perfect, we were not here. But I think, you know, I love the whole thing that, you know, we have powerful women in there, you know, led by God, you know what I mean? In this mix of Latina, you know, powerful that is all about community, and UK is all about community and children, and now, you know, like it's not like sometimes you have to look for a translator, and that translator maybe don't say what you're saying. I know Maria is going to say exactly what the parent is saying. You're going to find out what's going on. So I'm glad that, you know, Springfield is going to have that team. That is no messages going to be like misled or go under the rug because, you know, a parent come with an issue and it's in Spanish and somebody maybe don't want to say exactly as they say.
And you know what?
Trouble.
That is so powerful because like I don't speak Spanish. Hablo español poquito. Lentamente. But I understand it very well. I took it for 6 years. So I'm often, that's why when you're translating, I'm just like, because I understand it. Comprendo mucho.
You be able to understand it, you know?
I do. I understand it very well. And so they actually have me do. Yeah, I do. So now we know. They're talking about me. Let me make sure they're not talking about me. But I understand it very well. So, but I agree that it's important to make sure that message is being provided accurately. We do not want misinformation. And it happens, misinformation happens.
And it happened because when people want to cover themselves
Yeah.
up, and it's gonna happen, well, because like it's like
Don't know about, they know about it. But what's important is then they look at the kids' grades and they look at if the kid is suspended from school or didn't go to school. Then they tell the kid, well, you weren't in school, so why are you coming here? You should be in school. So now the kids go to school more because of stuff like this.
because
But
they want to go to the program.
yeah, they want to go to the program. But then also, kids failing in a class or struggling in a class, they can have tutors for the kid and they can set up programs to make sure to help the kids to read and all that stuff, that they don't have to wait. Now they can work with that kid because every week they can go in and check and see what they do in other different towns, because United Way is not just for Springfield, it's for 26 towns in Hampton County, in South Hadley, and Granby. Ludlow, South Hadley, all of those places.
Definitely have to be.
Yeah, those are in my coverage area, and so I
try to
about that stuff. So it's a lot of programs, and I can't even name them all, but that's one that I really like. And then I do Stay in School, which is around making sure that kids are going to school every day. Because what happens is parents say, oh, well, it's cheaper to go to Disney World, so we're just going to go now and take the kids out of school for a whole week. And next thing you know, now the kid has 5 days. Kids like it, parents shouldn't do it. But they're out of school, next thing you know, they're out of school 5 days, 10 days, 15 days. Once a kid is out of school, 18 days.
18 days?
Right? They're considered chronically absent.
Okay.
But if it's 10% of the time that you should be in school, so let's say we're in school for 90 days right now, I don't know what it is, but let's say 90. Then if they miss more than 9 days, that's 10%, then they're considered chronic absentee. So what happens is, those kids automatically, once you class, so parents think, oh, well, they get their homework. No, they have special education or IEP, and now an IEP, for people who don't know, is individualized education plan. So sometimes kids have special services, and they don't know how to behave in class, and they'll just send them out the classroom. Kids understand how important it is with the Stay in School program, all these partners. And what we did is we had this messaging campaign, and I went into the schools, and I had youth ambassadors that came together, and they would go out in the community, pass out flyers, and talk to other parents, and talk to other friends, and remind them of how important it is to go to school every day. And so with that initiative over the 3 years, it's very, you know what, my kids been acting like that, and I never knew that that's what it was, and they found out their kids were being bullied. So now we started having this conversation around bullying and how it affects the kids' attendance. And a lot of the parents that I meet with are managing the project Taylor. Like, I've seen some programs, if you want to be a great reviewer, a lot of times we're in silos and people
better. That should be the main goal for everyone, right? From the community or from politics, you know what I mean? And show them we care. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And give, like, I would think everybody, and somehow, sometimes it's hard to think that are getting older, praying and meditating with God. And because sometimes I didn't realize, wow, I'm very blessed, all these blessings, then I don't understand.
If you put positive out, you're going to get positive back. And the thing is, even when people are negative to us, it doesn't even bother us, because when you're so full of positive energy, it's like somebody was so mean to me yesterday at an event.
Because if that will change your whole day.
Absolutely. So it couldn't, because I had to go to another event. I had to do more stuff.
And
So I was just like, I'm not going to be upset with that. So I let it go. And I kept it moving. And I'm like, they're probably going to be more. And actually, I didn't
work with that. It's like I go through the road. Direct care, many jobs. I did many jobs. But I'm a realtor agent too. I have so many licenses. I just, you know what it is? I love education. My thing is like, like when you bring and give, that's what you're gonna get. I know God is gonna open me the door. So
He does. He opens the door, and He always protects us.
Oh yeah.
He protects us. And
it's
so
just awesome.
it's like you're so focused on the good stuff that you can't focus on the bad, but it goes right over your head.
And I tell people all the time, because this is not about religion, this is not about, but you know what? God and be also like, they just pointed out at people without not knowing that sometimes that's the angel of a church.
Absolutely.
You can never say nothing bad about it.
No.
Even if it's bad.
Yeah.
So, I know that. So, I just tell people, listen for everything that lifts you up. Some people try to, with the negativity, bring you down. you know, and that's what made you that person. You know, it's just you like come up, you know, so bad that he need to like try to bring you down.
Right.
But you know what? With who you are, you know, nobody against you.
Yeah.
And I'm so happy. I'm so happy to have you here. The first time was great. The second time is even awesome. Because I know who put you there, and we gotta. I do give the glory in your name to him because I know that he backed you up.
Yeah,
Because you know what, you got the heart, and he knows that you're doing the right thing. Thank you very much because you know what, the children are his.
Yeah.
And that's definitely what you're taking care of.
Yeah.
And I'm very, very thankful that you're in this position. And it's pretty still. Thank you very much again. Bueno, mi gente, thank you very much for listening. And look at that with Sonia. Please tune in Sunday. We have Latonia. I'm so happy that she was here, that she's going to be in Springfield. You know, you don't have no excuse. Even if you don't know English, you can speak to her in Spanish. But we got Maria, so we have great teams, great leadership, and people that really, really care for our children. And that's the most important thing, that our children is the future. And thank you.
Thank
and
you.
Love you guys. Well, we be famous.
It's always when you come.
Really?
Love you. Hey, God back you up.
Thank you.
For real.
Good.
You know, like, and it's good that I bring you to the show. And let's go get out. Diana, can you figure out how to turn that off? Because when I met you, you were so quiet. I never know what you really was feeling. Like, everybody, like, you have this with you that I'm there to show who you are, but I really didn't know who you are until I got you here. And that's what is awesome. Because sometimes you're quiet and you don't. I'm very observant. No, me too.
When it's time for me to talk,
Oh, okay.
I try, because when I talk, people, you know,